We have a fantastic lineup of speakers, as you all saw, and Melissa will be doing the introductions for our speakers today. Dr. Melissa Bodogna is an international speaker, consultant, and award-winning learning designer who has spent her career producing measurable results by unleashing human potential. That sounds like a big task. Melissa and her team at KatalysisX sit at the intersection of the future of work and learning, where they help leaders reimagine their future in this age of machines and connections, then co-create initiatives designed to get them there. So that sounds like a bigger task.
Yes, sometimes.
Would you please make a welcome Dr. Melissa Bodogna.
Thanks, Phil, and thank you all for being here today. I won't take too much of your time before I introduce our keynote speaker, but I do want to kind of frame and give you a bit of the context of today. And if the technology works, the video I have for 60 seconds, we'll do that, and I'll just give a little follow-up, so just bear with me. I recognize that some of the text went by quite quickly, so there's a quote that I like to use when I open these kind of sessions by a writer by the name of William Gibson, and he said that the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. And what we were looking at today, and we'll be speaking with our panelists a little bit later, are some of the megatrends that are impacting the industry, specifically financial services and technology, but all across the board, quite frankly. And some of those megatrends, the obvious one is technology in the form of further automation, artificial intelligence, robotics, and other exponential technologies. And that's the obvious one that we tend to point to. There's others, though, in terms of the multi-generational workforce that we're seeing, and the longevity of us as a human race, and living longer and working longer, and what that means. Also, the greater mobility that we have and the freedom that comes along with that, in terms of being able to work from anywhere, at any time, and all the good stuff that goes with that as well. And complexities, too. Further globalization, and also the shifting sociocultural behaviors. You know, 10 years ago, most of us did not have our heads in our phones as we walked down the street, and trying to engage with our children and actually have conversations and eye contact was a little bit easier than it is today. So there's definitely these shifting behaviors. Oftentimes, there's a statistic that's been bandied about up to 45% of jobs that currently exist in 10 to 15 years' time are set not to exist in Australia alone. Now, I want to put a little asterisk on that, because that doesn't necessarily mean that 45% of jobs are going to be gone. It just means that they're going to shift and change, and we're going to have different types of jobs. Having said that, there will be displacement, and what's been being said is that while we've always had technological displacement, it's just never going to be. It's never happened at the pace that it's predicted at the moment. So what I'm wanting to do today is start the conversation and open the conversation about these megatrends, how they're going to be impacting our industries, our lives, our children's futures, and all those kinds of very interesting and thought-provoking ideas. So not to belabor this, because the show's not about me, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Brad Chan. Brad is the CEO of Banna Property Group, a third-generation family business with a vision to transform its shopping centers into community hubs. Brad is also the founder of Haymarket HQ, a startup hub with a particular focus on helping startups grow into Asian markets. The hub also provides space for events and talks and subjects such as innovation, business in Asia, and promoting culturally diverse leadership. Brad acts as a mentor to both startups as well as individuals and retains a personal interest in angel investing. Previously, he was president of the Haymarket Chamber of Commerce for 5 years, sat on the City of Sydney Chinese New Year Advisory Committee, and was the first president of the Australian Asian Association of Benelong. He currently chairs a local preschool and remains involved with community and local government committees. He recently established the Banna Foundation, the family group's philanthropy arm. If you can all join me in welcoming Ms. Chan, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks for that introduction, Melissa. I think that was a longer introduction than my speech is going to be. Now, I don't have any videos or PowerPoints, and I was just thinking, I'm supposed to be talking about technology, and so probably not a good start. We're going to have to go the old-fashioned way today. Well, thanks for having me, everybody. I've been scratching my head lately, and it's not because of dandruff, although my scalp has been a little dry, but just trying to work out what to say to a group of CFOs and accountants about the future of work. Although I've been enjoying reading about CPA, the whole sagas in the media over recent months, I don't think I could speak with particular authority about the future of your industry. But I was offered a free lunch by Phillip, so here I am, and I notice a free pen and a notebook as well, so that's a bonus. Now, I'm no naked CEO, but I'm happy to provide my own thoughts on the topic on the future of work. So I want to basically talk about a couple of things today. Firstly, what I envisage the workforce of the future to be like and the changes to expect. And secondly, because of these ongoing changes, I want to talk about the importance of developing leadership skills and the role you all should play in developing our future workforce. In your profession, you've probably been told that the only certainty in life, apart from death, is taxes. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus said that the only constant is change. Yet, yes, change is inevitable, except from a vending machine, of course. Yet, it is said that the world today is changing at a faster rate than ever. Although I'd say every generation probably thought that. The development of automation, enabled by robotics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning are all expected to make many skills obsolete and new skills a must. Sometimes I joke that a new skill I've had to develop because of technological efficiencies is being able to walk on a busy street while sending a text message and trying not to bump into a pole. It's not a skill that I needed in the past, and it's not as easy as it sounds because it takes fast fingers, peripheral vision, nimble feet, and the effective use of emoticons. But in all seriousness, already we are seeing that digital platforms and other innovations are rapidly changing the fundamental nature of work. It's hard not to get a little alarmed by all the media attention on how technology is affecting jobs. Headlines stating that technology will kill 40% of Aussie jobs by 2030 are pretty scary. I then look at the Australian startup success story Atlassian, which is a $10 billion company, already in similar value to Qantas, that sells hundreds of millions of dollars of software, but with no salespeople. Now, wouldn't it be great to be able to sell your products with no salespeople? Which typically means no salaries, no commissions, and no annoying egos. I don't think anyone can say with any certainty what the future of work will be like. However, the reality is that most occupations will change rather than get automated out, and undoubtedly there will be new jobs created utilising skills we haven't even thought of yet. Sometimes I think about how easy technology has made things. In 1997, I spent a year backpacking around Europe, and in my backpack, I would carry a thick, heavy Lonely Planet guidebook, and to make things lighter, I'd rip out those pages after I visited the city, just so my backpack wouldn't be as heavy. Now, I could just use the Lonely Planet app on my phone. I used to carry a camera, and I'd have to post the film back to Australia to get developed. Now this thing takes high resolution photos and stores it on the cloud for me. I would have to buy a tourist map of each city for each new destination. Now Google Maps makes it so easy. Every few days I'd have to visit an internet cafe to email friends and family. Now I can still email, but also communicate on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or Snapchat. And if I get lonely in a city, I can jump on Tinder and hook up with someone. So I'm told. This has also replaced my Walkman I used to travel with. And I can also play games on it, read the newspapers, stream movies, and even now pay for my shopping with it. Finally, I used to buy a phone card in each country just in order to call home. Yes, you guessed it. This rectangular thing is actually a phone too. How easy life has become with just one device. I'm sure you've all had your own first-hand experience of technology creating efficiencies in your work. That may be tasks that are now largely automated. Software systems and bank accounts that can talk to each other. And can you believe it? Even the tax office is trying to make things easier. As a result, I'm assuming that most of you who are still charging based on billable hours are probably seeing average client fees decrease, but this also creates opportunities to look at initiatives such as value-based pricing, being able to provide key insights to your clients based on their data, and also getting increased referrals by providing exceptional customer experiences. At the end of the day, it's worth remembering that change brings opportunity. And probably the biggest opportunity for all of you in the room is to develop the skills necessary to capitalise on what lies ahead. Which leads me to my next point, the importance of developing leadership skills. Although we don't know with any certainty what the workplaces of the future will be like, we do know that there will always be a human element involved, most probably engaged in higher skill or value-add activities, whereas repetitive tasks can be replaced by machines. I believe that despite continued advancements in technology, successful organisations will always be built around good people. Having new technical skills such as working with big data or digital technology will be important, but it is the soft skills, which are transferable skills, that will continue to be essential and will future-proof your business. And are the soft skills related to leadership where you can have the most impact: communication, adaptability, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, service design, and people management, to name a few. If you look at the workforce today, already millennials have taken over as the largest representative generation. And we know certain things about this group. They express little loyalty to their employers and won't stay with their company in the long term. They choose organisations that share their personal values. They look for purpose beyond profit. They want mentorship, they want leadership skill development opportunities, and they want the right environment. You're probably thinking, why would I want them? They sound pretty damn demanding. But you know, millennials no longer want to work for you, they want to work with you. And they are our future workforce. And therefore the importance of strong, authentic leadership and the ability to build a great culture will not only improve your chances of attracting them, but also engaging and retaining them. I was fortunate last week to spend an hour or so interviewing David Thodey, the ex-CEO of Telstra. During David's 6 years as CEO, he doubled the value of Telstra from about 40 billion to 80 billion. And he said, you know, when he came into that role, his highest priority was changing the culture. He's a big believer that culture eats strategy for breakfast. and that the reinforcement of the company's values, the willingness to call out poor behaviour, and the rewarding of positive behaviours was essential in turning Telstra around. Our rapidly changing world creates the need for agile and nimble organisations that can move quickly, that are flexible, and that can learn and adapt. It is imperative that you have the culture and structure set up to achieve this. When I'm interviewing someone for a job, I rarely focus on the technical skills. That's something I've learned over time. And I would say that technical skills are secondary. Instead, the criteria I'm assessing someone against are firstly, alignment to the company's core values, and secondly, how adaptable they are. Because adaptability helps determine how you respond to change, whether you are flexible, a team player, and how well you are able to bounce back from adversity. People who are adaptable also excel as leaders. And being adaptable as a leader is vitally important. Your ability to equip yourself with various leadership tools and adapt them to the right situations will make a big difference. I find that many people have different expectations of their leaders, and those who are discerning and emotionally intelligent enough to adapt to the particular situation are the more successful ones. I thought I might try an experiment, but just on leadership. So if I pose to you 3 different images of leadership, which do you think is most important? So if the first image is a conductor leading a symphony, the second image is a picture of 2 hands shaking, and the third image is a warrior leading the charge on horseback. So can I have a show of hands? Who thinks their view of leadership is the first one, the conductor leading the symphony? Yeah, okay, some hands up there. Okay, hands up those who feel that the second one, the 2 hands shaking, is their ideal view of leadership. Okay, a few there. And hands up, thirdly, the warrior leading the charge on horseback. Okay, still a few hands up. I don't think everyone put their hands up, so maybe there's some confusion in the room, but what it does show me is there are differing views of leadership, okay? And, often conflict arises when the staff member has a different view of what your leadership style should be, and you have a particular view of what your leadership style should be. And so there's a bit of a disconnect there, and that's often where different expectations and therefore conflict arises. So to some people, a leader is someone who takes charge, while others think of a leader as a facilitator. There is no right or wrong answer, but an effective leader is adaptable to the situation. And therefore, there's a real need to continue to build your leadership skills and have various tools to deal with various situations. The other leadership opportunity I want to mention is the ability to capitalise on diversity, a key driver of innovation. As we approach a time when the workforce is potentially formed of 5 generations, there is a need to communicate and create alignment across these diverse teams of different ages, skills, disciplines, working styles and cultures. Cross-cultural competency will continue to be important skills for all workers, not just leaders. It's also an opportunity to promote and develop leaders already with cultural awareness that may not fit the traditional model of leaders. Typically, the ideal leader is seen as the extroverted, charismatic and outspoken candidate. Yes, I'm thinking of Trump right now. This view of leadership is quite contrary to the leadership styles of many cultures, such as Asians. From a personal point of view, it is a bit disappointing to look at the high proportion of accountants of Asian heritage at the entry level of organisations, yet see such low levels of representation at the management and leadership level within these same companies. I think this underrepresentation of Australians of Asian background is prevalent not just in accounting firms, but in most industries, in the banks, politics, even television, except for maybe MasterChef and My Kitchen Rules. There seems to be a lot of Asian chefs on those shows. There's certainly an opportunity to rethink our leaders of tomorrow and what attributes will help our workplaces of the future to be successful. The world is changing quickly, and leadership has to change too. We can't presume what we did in the past will work in the future. This is what makes leadership so challenging and rewarding. To conclude, the unstoppable rise of automation, AI, and other forms of technology comes with unprecedented levels of speed. Speed of making decisions, speed of getting goods or services to market, speed of executing a strategy. In an age where a startup can disrupt an entire industry almost overnight, businesses must be prepared to change. I want to leave you with a quote from Rupert Murdoch, an admired business leader, not because of his longevity and not because he married Jerry Hall, but because of his resilience and determination. Murdoch said, "The world is changing very fast. Big will not beat small anymore. It will be the fast beating the slow." So, are you changing fast enough? Thank you.